I know what you are.
I'm Batman.
Hey everyone, Josh the Editor here, and I just saw The Batman 2022. So I'm going to give a quick overview about what I liked and what I didn't like. And just a heads up, I'm going to be touching on some minor spoilers. Nothing major, but a lot of people have different opinions on what they consider spoilers. So this is a heads up, I will be talking about the general plot of the movie. Cool? Alright, let's go. I really liked this movie. The plot was really cool. It was like this crime drama, but with Batman characters. It feels like it was trying to be a mystery, but we know immediately that it's the Riddler who's the one committing the murders. So then maybe you'd think, oh, which one of these characters is going to end up being the Riddler? But they announced years ago that Paul Dano was going to be playing the Riddler. So you might be wondering, where's the mystery? But it's okay, because there's still plenty of elements in this movie that have mystery to them. Like, why is the Riddler doing this? Why is he targeting these specific people? Who's going to be the next target? And how is he going to go about killing them? Because he's pretty colorful with the way he kills some of these people sometimes. The tone of the movie is good. I love the tone. I don't really know how to describe it, but I can tell you some of the elements. About 90-95% of this movie takes place at night. And in addition to that, Robert Pattinson is wearing the Batman costume for most of the movie. To be honest, this movie kind of reminds me a lot of the Arkham video games. The directing in this movie is really good. There are a lot of shots where Batman is just silhouetted against something, and it looks really good. There's this one short fight scene that takes place in a completely dark hallway, and the only things that light up the scene are the lights from the gunfire, and it looked awesome. I really like how this movie is loosely based on the Batman Year 2 comic. The Year 1 comic was the basis for Batman Begins, and in that story, Bruce Wayne comes back from training with ninjas or whatever, and develops the concept of being Batman. And I think Batman Begins grasps that concept really well. Batman Year 2 is a little different. Bruce Wayne is Batman, but he's still working out all the kinks. He's a little inexperienced. There's a scene in this movie where he has to jump off a rooftop, which is something Batman does all the time. Not unusual Batman behavior. Just a Tuesday for the Dark Knight. But in this movie, it feels like this is his first time jumping off a tall building. Because for a split second, he looks down, and you can see in his face, he's like, oh shit, I'm really high up. Oh my god. Also, he doesn't really use a lot of gadgets in this movie. He has his grappling hook, but that's about it. He mostly just beats the crap out of people with his fists, and I'm totally okay with that. I also just really liked the aesthetic of this movie. Everything looked like it was handmade. Robert Pattinson said in an interview that that's what they were going for. And then I really thought about it, and yeah, most of his equipment in this movie is pretty low tech. The Batmobile in this movie is essentially just a muscle car with a jet engine strapped to the back of it. Compare that to the Ben Affleck Batmobile. That thing had grappling hooks and guns and an ejector seat. It almost feels like this new version of Batman only had like a few $1 million to spend on being Batman as opposed to the usual billions. I also wanted to bring up Robert Pattinson specifically. He's really good in this movie. He's definitely the most broody version of this character, but I think it's fine because I don't think every live-action interpretation of Bruce Wayne has to be the same. It kind of gets boring after a few renditions. Plus, when he's in the Batman costume, his Batman moments are pretty awesome. I feel a little weird to say this, but I think he might be my favorite live-action Batman. And the only reason I think it's weird is because, come on, it's Edward. But there were just so many moments in this movie where I'm like, oh, this is Batman. This is what it means to be Batman. Maybe it's recency bias, but if I'm being honest, I didn't really like Christian Bale's Batman. Ben Affleck was fine, but he's not coming back. Plus, he was in 2 of the worst DC movies I've ever seen. Val Kilmer was garbage. George Clooney was garbage. Michael Keaton was pretty good. 7 out of 10. Michael Keaton was good, but I like this. One problem I did have with the movie, I honestly didn't know the movie was 2 hours and 56 minutes long until after I saw it. That is a long movie. I wanted to go back to the theater and see it again, but it's so long. There is a scene in this movie where I thought the movie was going to be wrapping up, but then there was another 45 minutes left. It was this scene, right here, from the trailer. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Another problem I have with this movie is that I felt like the ending was trying to be more epic than what the rest of the movie was building up to. I can't talk too much about it without talking about spoilers, so I'm not going to go into it further. And then the last problem I have is that I think the masks in this movie suck. I feel really nitpicky saying this. The Batman mask is fine, but it just doesn't hold up in a brightly lit setting. But to be fair, none of the Batman costumes hold up in a brightly lit setting. The Riddler's mask was passable because it was trying to be creepy, but there were times when Paul Dano was acting his ass off, And I thought, damn, I wish I could see his face for this scene. The Catwoman mask is just this weird beanie thing. It has the two small points that are supposed to be cat ears, but I felt like they should have just went for it and given her the cat ears, you know? Overall, I like this movie. It has its problems, but I mean, what movie doesn't? Plus, I feel like the pros in this movie definitely outweigh the cons. I would be down for more movies in this universe, but I'm also cool if it's just another one-off thing like the Joker movie. Not everything needs a cinematic universe or a trilogy. I just think it's funny how comic book movies have essentially become comic books in the sense that there's all these different types of canons. So I'm gonna give this movie the ranking of good time. Yeah, good time. Hold on, let me find a better graphic for good time. Hey, look at that. Hey everybody, Josh here. Thank y'all for watching the video. I really appreciate it. And I'd appreciate it more if you could hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate that too. Let me know in the comments if you like this video and if I should do other types of videos for it and what movies I should cover. Thank y'all for watching. Really appreciate you. Bye-bye.